Support for this podcast comes from the Fresh Market, celebrating 35 years of fresh foods with in-store samplings and events throughout the month of April. Details at thefreshmarket.com.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio in high fidelity.
Jimmy Mack is a renowned medical intuitive and spiritual life coach who has taken, completed, and even mastered a variety of healing modalities. After a near-death experience, he was shown and developed a simpler way to create healing and profound changes, now known as My Liquid Fish. He works with clients in person, on the phone, and over Skype worldwide, accessing energetic powers and co-creating changes that you can actually feel. Call in now to reserve your spot on the switchboard. The call-in number is 713-955-0594. Press 1 if you would like to ask Jimmy Mack a question. Enjoy this 1 hour of profound healing.
Hey everybody, it's Jimmy Mack coming to you live, Clearwater, Florida. Hope everybody's doing great and the weather is funky and all that, but you never know what's going to happen here, folks. So, while everybody else is being snowed in, we're like in this place where it's muggy hot and it's supposed to be cold this weekend. So you never know what's going to happen. It's quite funny. At any rate, next week we have Sarah Kadir on, and she is actually a psychic intuitive from England. Really cool mystic lady, and I've had the privilege of being on her show as well. So that was really awesome, and I think she's a really, really good reader. So, folks, you should enjoy that. We're here every Tuesday, 12 noon, and, we like to stir it up, keep things going. We take callers, of course, for healings, for readings, all that sort of thing. And so we like to keep it stirred up for everybody else and really see what we can bring in from spirit for everybody. Also, we got Mercury retrograde coming up. That's always a joy, right? So for those of you who are familiar with that, that comes up April 9th, and I believe it goes on till May 2nd. So that's quite a long time to have everything kind of messed up, but it is what it is. Mercury is basically the planet of communications. So appearance is actually going in reverse, as I understand it. And I'm not an astrologer or numerologist or even an astronomer, but that's what they say. And so you generally have snarled up issues with texting, with communications. You might tell somebody I'll be there at 4, and you find out later, hey, was it this Tuesday, that kind of thing. So we never know what's going to happen, folks, and, isn't that a joy? We do have some great things coming out. If you're not already on our TGI Wednesday, please get on that as well. Just send us an email, info @jimmymackhealing.com. And we will gladly send you out some information. It's all about some various audios, some television shows, some different videos, radio shows I've done, ebooks. It's all free and can only help promote you and make things better for you. So that's really what we're all about, and that's certainly what this show is all about. It's being of service. So we're excited you're here. Oh, also, all my support people would have a fit if they knew I forgot. Wednesday, as in tomorrow, we're coming out with a new audio MP3. It's really about dark energy, and it's really interesting because it is all about, believe it or not, curses, spells, hexes, that sort of thing, and the really dark energy. And the point is you want to get that ick off of you and clear that out. And, it's really very, very important to do that. And my favorite joke is my dear friend who's an attorney We go to the movies every weekend, and there was some horrible movie trailers. God, it was like the arm coming up from the first floor to the second floor, bloody and dragging the kid down, that kind of thing. And he turned to me and he says, Jimmy, are you going to clear us after this movie? I said, hell no, I'm doing it right now. So you can imagine the entrainment, folks, of being exposed to that, or even road rage. Things like that are like psychic attacks, so it's nothing to be afraid of. The Catholic Church to this day still does exorcisms, so evil, although a lot of people consider it negative versus positive, that sort of, it's a very, very, very real thing. So you really want to get that off of you and be as cleaned up as possible. I tell everybody, even my movie star clients, we eat, we go to the bathroom, we might mow the lawn, you're going to take a shower, wash your clothes, and the process goes on. And so the same as if you go into an area where there's large groups of people, hospitals, nursing homes, the mall, stadiums even, and restaurants, big restaurants, that sort of thing, you end up picking up some of these negative energies, whether you want to or not. It almost drifts on you like a mist. And I tell people often, if you go into a diner and you could eat clean as clean could be and have a fruit bowl and cottage cheese and green tea, and if it's breakfast time, guess what you're going to come out smelling like? Breakfast and bacon and the grease and everything else. You almost want to burn your clothes and take a shower and start your whole day over again. So definitely you want to get in on this deal. If you're not already on there on the TGI Wednesday, as I'd mentioned, it's info at jimmymackhealing.com. And that's coming out tomorrow. It's on sale. I believe it's $33, which is a dream compared to if you have a private session with me, it's $65 for the half hour. So that kind of gives you an idea. There's over 100 clearings in this audio MP3, and people have had profound experiences, my own being my neck and back pain left after I recorded it. I woke up the next day pain-free, just unheard of. So that tells me right there it was a lot of negative pieces on me and different weird little gnomes, if you will, the little gerbily looking things that are dark energy, and you definitely want to get that cleaned up off of you. So reach out if we can help you anyway, and we're here to be of service, obviously, of healing and spirit messages and all that, and that's what we're all about, folks, so don't hesitate to reach out. But that comes out tomorrow. You definitely want to get in on that. It's going to be much, much higher of a price after the week sale, and we never go back down. We start out really low on the pricing, and then it's a retail all after that, and my people will tell you that that's the way it is. So get in now, folks, because we want everybody to share that with their closest friends and relatives and keep things stirred up, and obviously get them cleaned up too. If they're even halfway down the yellow brick road, this will give them the boost they need. Hey, we're excited about today's guest. It's Tammy Deans. She is a psychic, artist, author, radio host, Reiki practitioner, vibrational energy therapist, and teacher, as well as an ordained minister like myself. You can email her, Tammy, Tammy, at tammydeans.com. That's tammydeans.com. And the website, of course, is tammydeans.com. She's been featured on the Destination America and Travel Escape Channel's popular show, Paranormal Survivor. How cool is that? As well as featured regularly on Shaw TV. Articles have been written about her in the Salt This Week and Salt Star, SAULT, Star newspapers. And Tammy's out of Canada area, and she's written and published the books Poetry by Tammy, Illuminations by Tammy, and A Fine Line Between Good and Evil. She's also created the Oracle deck, Within the Eye, and I want to chat with her about tea leaf readings. Kind of the political joke's always been, folks, about, the politicians or the talking heads on TV. They're always like, I don't know if he is reading the tea leaves or not, and they just make such a funny political reference to that. So we're going to get into all that and stir up more and see what we can stir up from spirit and get some messages from her as well. Hey, Tammy, how are you today?
Hey, thanks for having me on.
You bet. Thanks for being on today. We're excited. And, I wanted you to, obviously, I touted your stuff and want to talk more about that. But gosh, just to be on some of those paranormal shows and everything else is really, really cool to me. I kind of watch all that, and of course I'm probably biting a pillow at the time, but it's really interesting stuff, right? You just want to get it cleaned up off of you, and I know you have had exposure to all that, so it's kind of interesting. Tell folks about what you do primarily, and I know you've got a shop as well, so tell them about where you're located in Canada and also what you like to do.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm located in Sault Ste. Marie. You called it Salt. I know it looks like that, but it's pronounced Sault.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. So it's Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, in Canada, obviously. I have a little shop downtown, and it's a little metaphysical store. I have lots of crystals and different things like that. But mainly what I do is readings for clients. So I do tea leaves, tarot cards, candles, pretty popular now. There's quite a few different things that I'm able to do for people that come in, and basically depending on what they're looking for. So that's mainly what I've dedicated my life to, is doing the readings. Mm-hmm. But of course, I'm constantly I have different crafts. I'm now working with leather. I don't know where I figure, I should fit all this in my life, but I always seem to find time to find something to do.
Right. Isn't that always the way? So you stay busy.
It is.
What's your most popular thing then, as far as readings go? What do people request?
I think in this area, the economy isn't all that wonderful, so I think the tea is more popular just because it's so much cheaper. But really, if people are looking for answers, the tarot is definitely what they're looking for. If they're just coming in with friends or just wanting to sit back and listen to me, then a tea is good. But if you're having life issues, the tarot gives you much more opportunity to get down to the nitty-gritty and see what's going on in your life.
Love it. Well, that's a good way of putting it, that's for sure. Folks, if you're just joining us, it's Tammy Deans Live. The phone number is 713-955-0594. If you have a question, want a reading or a healing, you got to press 1#, and we'll be underway. So that tells us you're raising your hand, so just press 1 if you have a question for Tammy. So tell me more about just the basics of, and we'll take a caller in just a second, as far as tea leaves go, and you know the story about the politicians and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. They always make a reference to it like it's hokey, and you and I are like, tell me more, right? It's like we find it fascinating, and their reference is always like, well, I guess they didn't read the tea leaves on that one or see this particular candidate coming of age or winning the race or whatever.
I think one of my favorite stories about the teacups is I was doing a group of women. There had to have been like 6-8 women here. And there was one little girl, and she was really shy and wouldn't talk to me, but they gave her a little tiny bit of tea in a teacup, and she sat there drawing happy faces the whole time. Wouldn't talk to anybody, just kept drawing happy faces. And when we were all done, I asked her if she wanted me to read her cup, so I flipped over her cup, and on the bottom of it, the only thing that you could see was this huge happy face. And it was, I'd say, just so innocent, pure, beautiful, but I think that's one of my favorite memories. Mm-hmm. There's no way I could have faked that. Everybody was like shocked to see that. It was beautiful. But really, when it comes down to the tea, I always say over the years I've had a lot of people, kind of come back to me with their opinions of it, and it seems like my timeline is about 2 months. So basically what I'm seeing is what's happening within the next couple of months. It could be anything from, health, which I'm very careful with. I don't like talking about people's health too much. But it can be from health to money to love. I mean, anything you can imagine, you can see in a cup. I pride myself in sharing what I see. So one of the things I do is when I see something, I'll show the person in the cup, and they're like astounded at the pictures that you see in the cup. Yeah, like I've been to many different readers, and we all just sit back and listen, and then when she's done, she puts the cup down, and away you go. But for me, I share what's in there, and I think that's one of my favorite things, because people look at me as if to say, get out, you see that in my cup? And it's like, yeah, I do. Look it, I'll show you. So it's amazing what you can find in there.
I love that.
Exactly. But it's not just the leaves that I read, it's the energy as well. The woman who taught me how to read the tea leaves, She's passed away now, but one of the first things she told me was, when you lift the cup up, like, because when somebody's done drinking your tea, you put your cup upside down on a saucer. So when I go to read it, I flip it up and I start reading. So when you initially flip over that cup, you breathe in that energy that's coming out of the cup, and that's what you're reading. And
love it.
I really didn't think that was true until one day when I found out that this gentleman ate every last tea leaf that was in the cup, and there was nothing left. So I did my deep breath, and I was like, oh, my God, what am I going to do? And it just flew. Like, it still worked. So it's not just about the tea leaves.
Right.
Sometimes I can show you a picture. Sometimes I, can't.
Love it. So it's kind of, and you see things in it almost like we would the clouds if we were laying on the side of the hill kind of thing, clouds dancing, or a horse in the clouds, or an angel, or what have you. You feel like it's that big of a in-your-face showing, or you're picking up the vibrations, or both? Yeah, both.
Both, yes. One time I might see a symbol in there and say something positive, and the next time it may mean something negative, because I always go with what I'm feeling rather than what I'm seeing.
Right.
So if I see something, like if I see a horse, this time to me it might mean, endurance, stability, strength. And then the next time it might be, putting the horse before the cart, or the cart before the horse, I mean. So it just kind of depends what I'm picking up off of the symbol. So, and it's funny because sometimes I'll see something and it'll be like, I have no idea what this is, never seen it before. And I will explain to them or even draw what I'm seeing, and it'll make sense to them. And I'll say, okay, as long as you get it, I don't need to. As long as you can figure out what that symbol is, that's good to go.
I love it. Yeah, and a lot of times, and I know that the whispers are so faint, and I always say it's always in language I would never use, so it's kind of interesting. So I love it. Hey, let's take a caller, 908. You're live. Hi, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hi, this is Carolyn, and I'm calling from New Jersey.
Hey, Carolyn. How are you?
Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm great.
What's going on?
So my question is about what's coming up career-wise, maybe next month or so, or two.
Okay. Well, we'll ask Tammy about that.
Thank you, Tammy.
All right. So,
hi, Tammy.
Hi, how are you? I'm glad you're calling in today. I right away picked up some new money that's coming in, so showing a turning point financially. So that's a really good sign when you're talking about jobs and careers. Definitely coming in with low-risk investments, too. So it's saying just make sure you're focusing on them and not the high ones. So there's a lot going on with your finances. It's not just making more. But I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if you didn't have, some sort of raise or big bonus coming in, which is a good thing. Now, that's the positive. The negative here is showing that you kind of have two choices, and it's telling you that they're probably both going to look a little bit negative. So they're going to be worrisome, definitely stressful. But if you can try to figure out where your gut is involved in that and just follow your gut, you're going to be okay. It's just they're being presented like they're negative, but they're really not in the long run.
Is it you mean a contract? Because I have my own business, so I'm expecting a contract or two,
So maybe you're not going to like the terms of it?
Yes.
But it's
normal. It'll be normal
okay.
Of the industry. Yes. Wow. And I stress usually. The contract's not even in yet, and I already stress about if it's going to be like nothing that I really expected. But, I'll work with it. I'll negotiate.
Does the number 5 mean something? Like, could the contract be
5?
It's telling me 5 is important. So I don't know if that's the month of May or if that means...
Maybe it's a percent. That's pretty high, though, 5%. I'll keep that in mind. How's that?
Definitely keep it in mind, because it's telling me that the number 5 is important. So if what I'm seeing is the 2 opportunities coming in, I'm going to say pay attention to the 5 and kind of swing that way, whatever that means.
And is that coming like in like we just discussed, a month or?
I would say probably closer to 6 to 8 weeks. So it's closer to the 2-month period.
2 months, yes. Okay. Thank you. Wow.
You're welcome.
Good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for calling in, honey. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You bet.
Bye,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, 847. You're our next caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Jimmy. This is Uma. Hi, Tammy. I'm calling from Illinois.
Illinois. How are you?
Illinois. I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. What's going on? How can we help you today?
I'm calling regarding the job as well, like work-wise. What is coming up next? I'm looking for a change.
Well, you know what? You're not going to like my answer. It kind of shows me that you're going to be at a standstill for a while here. You're feeling very trapped. It's like things aren't moving forward. It's going to take a little bit yet before it starts to really come through. I don't know what the weather's like around you, but here nothing's blooming yet, and I'm going to say that everything's going to be in full bloom before you actually find something that's going to make you feel better. There's a lot of things going on, but nothing seems to stick. So you might get, interviews or options or good conversations going and opportunities that you think may happen, but it's saying nothing's really going to stick yet until things are in full bloom.
So it's a matter of waiting for a while then.
Yeah. You know what I'm kind of seeing here is that you have a friend or somebody closer to you that seems to be moving on. And somehow that is going to help you find a position or a new job. I don't know if that means that they have, if they're going to tell you about one or I'm not sure if you're just going to look where they're going, but it's telling me whoever this friend is that's moving on, so either changing jobs or moving away from you, they're going to have kind of the door opening for you.
Okay. So it will be pretty much the same to where and what I'm doing right now? Is that how it
doesn't? Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be huge change. It just seems like it's going to be stable, but nothing to write home and get all excited about yet.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And it's telling you when it comes to money that you want to be very careful. They're saying be very cautious when it comes to refinancing or borrowing of anything right now, just because you got a little bit of a wait here before you're going to feel like you can afford extra things.
Okay.
So it's not a bad answer. It's just telling you to have some patience. It is coming, but it's not coming as quick as you'd like it to.
Okay.
Okay?
Makes sense?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Oh, you bet.
Yes.
Thanks for
Good
calling
luck.
in. We appreciate it. Good luck to you, honey. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye.
818, you're our next caller. Hi, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Carolyn. I'm calling from California.
Hey, Carolyn, how are you? You have a question for Tammy?
Yes, I do. I want to know, do you see anything coming up for me in the next month or so?
Sorry, do I see any what in the next month or so?
Anything, coming up for me.
I'm sorry, Jimmy, can you help me out? Do you hear what she's saying?
Yeah, she's talking about anything coming up for her in the next month or so.
Oh, just
Carolyn,
anything?
Carolyn, are you referring to money, health? You want to narrow it down?
Move. I want to move.
A move. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say within 5 to 7 weeks you've got a big opportunity coming.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I'm going to say that it's good. It's showing me it's very, very strong for you. You're going to feel like you have more control over things. So it looks like this is going to be a good move. Even financially, it looks like it's good. So I'm going to say that it's either right where you want it to be or even better than that money-wise.
Oh, good. All right.
Yep, that's definitely some good answers.
Yeah, good. I thank you for that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Jimmy, I just wanted to ask you one question. I did the liquid fish this morning. I'm on my way to the eye doctor, and 2 weeks ago he told me that he thinks I have the beginning of glaucoma and cataract. So I tried to, eliminate this morning. I didn't have that much time. I did it. I got a no. So should I do it more than one time?
I sure would. I mean, eyes are critical, and cataracts are pretty much just the hazing over of the eye. It's weird. It's like the eye is protecting itself from the sun, so it creates this haze, and they've really perfected that. So I don't think it's a big deal to get that shaved off, if you will, laser cut or anything else they want to do. Glaucoma goes a lot deeper, though. That's different. That's all about pressure in the eye, and that's the inner pressure of the eye. Basically, that's something you really want to work on and work out. As far as my liquid fish goes, you're referring to my technique or method for creating change. So yeah, I would say highly. Eyes would be something you'd want to fish on probably every day if that's your critical mass. And I would be saying different words all the time. It's safe and comfortable to see clearly now. The pressure inside my eye is normalized. And I tell everybody you could go on Google Images and look up the eye and look up any area where the doctor is referring to might be a weakness. And instead you fish out the weakness and add strength into it while you're looking at that diagram of the eye. You don't have to know a ton of any of the anatomy like I do. It doesn't matter. You just look it up and go from there. And you could actually look at each word, each label of the eye, and if you're standing testing, you know how to use muscle testing, apply kinesiology with their fingers or a pendulum, you could test for weakness or strength in each area. And if eyes are showing up for you, also basically the energy component to that is what is it that you're unwilling to see. So that's all about sight and things you're pretty much putting off or ignoring, and you want to figure out what that is too. So, there's a lot of that's my 11-part answer to your one question.
I'm going to do all of that. I thought that was daily. I was just wondering, am I going to overkill it? But I'll,
you won't.
That was my
you won't.
Anyway. All right.
You won't.
Thank you.
Yeah, each day is different, love. Yeah, and keep me posted. I'll help you in any way I can, okay? Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Tammy.
Thanks for calling. Good luck.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 704, you're our next caller. Hi, where are you calling from? What's your name?
My name is Diana.
Hi, Diana. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Where are you calling from, and you have a question for Tammy?
Well, I'm actually not calling from the same area code. I have a different phone, but I do have a question. I am from Nebraska. I don't know if that's relevant or anything, but I am concerned about my daughter. She's 12, and she's just, I don't know, she's in a place. I'm going through a divorce, so I'm kind of wondering, how she's doing, and she hasn't been doing so well in school, and she goes fine, and then she kind of starts with her lying thing, and I just don't know what I'm doing. So I don't know what I can give me something to, is she going to be all right?
You know what, Diane? I really do see that things are going to work out in a positive way, but it's probably going to get worse first. Not worse as in life-changing for her, so that's the good sign. She's going to be pushing the limit, but she's not going to have, huge regrets when she's done and grows out of this. So she's going to be okay. What I find really interesting is that it's showing me here there's somebody that she is involved with. So I don't know if it's a friend from school or the neighborhood, but it's showing somebody that's throwing her off balance more than what she's going through at home. So I wouldn't take the blame all on you. There's definitely someone else there.
Well, and I've often wondered if it was her father or if it was this girl, and I don't know, this girl named Zoe, but I'm kind of trying to get her, to to make better choices when it comes to her friends. But yeah, there's something there that I kind of think that I'm battling with there, and so I don't know. But I did have an argument with her last night, so that's okay, right? She's not really upset or anything with me.
She's going to be fine. You know what I'm seeing, and this is my biggest warning for you, is whoever this is, if you're thinking it may be Zoe, then pay attention, because it's telling me that there's kind of like a sneak attack. You know, where you're at the wrong place at the wrong time and you just get involved in something she would have never, ever dreamt to be involved in? That's going to be what she's stuck in the middle. So she's going to really have to make a hard choice here, and I don't see her making the right one. She's going to want to kind of like save face rather than, bail out. So I don't know. I mean, I had a teenage daughter once, and I couldn't choose her friends for her, so I don't know how much, leverage you have on that. But if you can really try to steer her away from that friend, I think that's probably the best thing for you, for her.
Yeah, well, definitely.
As far as last night goes, I really do think that I'm going to say she's almost over it. Like, it's fine.
Okay. Well, I thought she is too, but I just kind of thought, well, I felt bad because I'm normally not hard on her, but I was pretty hard because, she lied and I caught her. So
she needed to be hard.
Yeah, I kind of felt like that. I was going like, it's going to be okay. She needed to know that I meant business, so I normally am very lenient, so. But, okay,
well, and that's the thing. She's going through, a lot of changes with the family, like you said, and it's okay to want to shelter her and try to protect her from that, but at the same time, you can't let her get away with everything. So, don't feel guilty. Like I said, make sure that she knows what her boundaries are and put your foot down and, show her love every other way. But I think you're doing awesome.
Oh, good. Thank you. I needed that because I was just confused. But okay, great. And I think that was pretty much all I had. I mean, I think most of my other stuff is going as planned. So
I would add to it, honey. It definitely shows up as your husband, her father, and it definitely shows up as a negative influence from the friend. So this is kind of her. My mother would say smelling herself or trying to figure out her way. But this doesn't emanate from you at all. This is a dad thing. It feels like a neglected dad thing. And it's her way of lashing out or somehow in a weird way keeping the focus on her. So
exactly.
I would agree with that. Yeah, she's
and I'm just telling you the words that are coming through, whether you agreed with them or not. I'm just letting you know that that's really what this is about. So in a weird way, she definitely is over the last night thing. I wouldn't worry about all that, but we want to steer clear of her, forever just blurting out the first thing that comes into her mind, or the denial thing. That people that have the toughest time in life are the ones that are blaming everybody and everything except for themselves and taking zero responsibility. So generally there's no book or roadmap for raising children. I have 2 grown sons and they have beautiful wives, and I have beautiful grandchildren, but girls are a little tricky, and especially the mother-daughter dynamic's a little tricky too, as you well know. So there's no model for that, but boy, I sure would hold them accountable and realize that they do have choice and positionality, and that these choices have consequences. So if she's straight up lying to you, there needs to be consequences for that. So does that help?
Yeah, it does. And she's going to her dad's tonight, which I couldn't, enforce anything. He does what he does over there. So, I have to figure out something with her now when she gets home after tomorrow. But, that definitely does help because I wasn't even thinking about consequences yet because I was more concerned about what she did than me.
And unfortunately, you got to keep taking away and taking away and taking away until you find that isolated line. So in other words, I had a client here yesterday, and the son was acting out and he was whatever, he's in English class, and English class might end at 1:30, and he's decided to shut down working at 1 o'clock, and he's decided to act out on the bus and stand up and all these different things. And it's like, and I literally said to him, might have realized you've lost the tablet, you might have lost the phone, you've lost all these things. What do you think's next? And he says, baseball. I said, that's right. You're going to lose baseball next, right? Oh, I love baseball. Well, guess what? So, you know, and that's unfortunately the extreme you got to go to, because we don't want, you know, Zoe influencing her into, you know, the teenage experiment of drugs or cutting or bulimia or boys and just exotic, crazy, down the road, down the wrong path stuff. So,
right,
that makes sense?
And that does make a lot of sense.
And that's your deepest fear too, by the way, and I get that. It would be for any parent. So, but
definitely.
I'd really be more the disciplinarian now, regardless if Dad coddles her or not. You know, when she's with you, boy, it's going to be, you know, we start taking things away until there's a change in behavior. You know, the old joke for the Viking ship would be the flogging will continue until morale improves. So how do you like that? Isn't that funny? So, you know, in this day and age, the kids are like so into, you know, immediate gratification and, oh, Surrey, you know, where's Antarctica? And it's like, ugh, you know. So you've got to dial all that back down a little bit so that, you know, she's more of a responsible adult. You just don't want her to be floundering in her 20s, 30s, and 40s and whining to the shrink about mommy didn't love me and didn't discipline me enough. Can you imagine?
Exactly.
So, you know, that's what we want to stay out of. Okay? So it's almost like, and again, this doesn't come through for everybody, but it's almost like a little of this, you know, prevention now is going to really make a difference long term for her. I would call it steering the cruise ship. And if we got to cross 500 miles of ocean and we barely click it to the left 1 degree, you wind up 100 miles up the coast. So you want to kind of button all this down right now so that, you know, we don't have an issue. But I'd agree with Tammy, too. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but these are kind of things you need to hear about and be aware of. So, okay?
Definitely.
Awesome.
I appreciate it.
Hey, we appreciate you calling in. Thanks, love.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Good luck with that. You bet.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye. Tammy, you raised a teenage daughter. Gosh, girls, boys, what's just all over the map? Depends on the person.
I actually have a teenage son now, and my daughter has 2 kids that are 9 and 10 now. So kind of have them all over the map right now too. But I would have to say that the daughter is so much harder than the son.
Oh, wow.
So much harder.
So they say boys are, you know, kind of remote and hand them trucks and whatever, and they're okay. But, you know, maybe my youngest son would disagree. His daughter's just an earth angel, and she's awesome. So, you know, I guess you just
well, there's not as much drama with boys as there is with girls. You know, and now you have this stupid internet, like you were talking about the instant gratification. Well, they don't realize how quickly something can come to bite you in the arse when you put it on the internet. And then you can't erase it. It's out there.
Right, forever kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's scarier, because at least when I had my daughter, this part wasn't, you know, well, when she was a teenager, this wasn't part of the package. And now I look and I think, holy cow, good luck. And now she has a daughter who's a redhead. So very fiery personality. And it's like, hope she doesn't do even nearly what you put me through.
Right? Yeah, that's kind of the joke, is it's usually payback for them. You know, it's kind of funny. So karmically or otherwise. Don't you find the signs make a huge difference, too, astrologically? I find that fascinating.
You know, it does. It really does. I don't have the memory for that. I don't know why, but I've never been able to click with the astrology. But I know that whenever I've really sat down and listened to somebody who knew what they were talking about and they talked about me, it made complete sense. You know? But for me, it was like homework trying to connect with astrology. I agree with couldn't do it.
I agree with you. Yeah,
but I'll tell you, doing readings whenever there's a full moon, look out. You know, like my mom just, you know, it's amazing who comes out on a full moon to get a reading?
Mm-hmm.
And the things you hear, and it's like, ooh, you don't even want to open the door on a full moon.
Well,
some of it's pretty scary.
It's definitely a statistic. The hospitals are, there's more people going to the ER, more people going to jail or DUI or what have you. So it makes a difference on the full moon. And Mercury retrograde is just a train wreck generally too. I'm slammed with people during the times of Mercury retrograde. And, they're just wondering, about what's going on with that and why everything's so funky, or why are people not calling me back, or this miscommunication.
Yeah.
And that's what that's all about. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we sure appreciate you being on today, love. And tell folks how to get a hold of you and how to get a reading, and also perhaps your website as well as your personal email, and then Facebook. They should reach out to you as well. And I'm assuming you do not just locally, but you do phone or Skype and that sort of thing. So tell people how to get a hold of you, honey.
All right. So if you're looking on the internet, it's Tammy Deans, TammyDeans.com. And email is pretty much the same thing. It's Tammy@TammyDeans.com. It's not hard to find me. I do lots of phone readings. I do lots of email readings. You know what? Skype has never taken off for me, but I do offer them. It's, there's so much that I can do from a distance. So just because you're not in my area doesn't mean that, we wouldn't have a good connection. So it's pretty nice. I also I belong to a worldwide company that does readings on the phone, so I have lots and lots of experience of hours sitting here doing, readings over the phone, so it does not affect it in a negative way at all. Facebook, Tammy Deans, definitely. You can get on there. You know what? Google Tammy Deans and it all comes up. It's like crazy.
No. Hey, you're page 1 of Tammy Deans, I'll bet.
And my book, the new book that I have out, is A Fine Line Between Good and Evil, and that is my story of my life dealing with spirituality and the dark and light energies. So that's available on Amazon, and check it out. I got the 3 books out there. So, like I said, Google Tammy Deans, you'll come up with everything.
I love it. Thanks so much for being on the show today, folks.
Thank you for having me.
Need help? Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed it. It was really interesting. And folks, if I can help you in any way, it's jimmymackhealing.com. You can always email us, info@jimmymackhealing.com. We appreciate everybody listening today and the callers calling in, and we hope we helped and contributed to you all. And like I say to everybody, may the rest of your life be the best of your life, and here's hoping you make progress every day. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Wonderful. Thank you. Bye-bye.